Hey, so it deleted me. Like it was like, nope, not today. Um, because I had the word unaliving in my title. So I wanted to give everybody a second to get here. I sincerely apologize about that, y'all. I don't know what's going on lately. Like I don't know. It's like since I've been mentioned and since my channel is growing a little bit, like I don't know, they keep messing with me. Like they're messing with me some kind of hard. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, that's what happened. I apologize so much. Oh yeah, Abellis. yeah, yeah, it deleted me. And it was because of the unaliving thing that I had, the S word that I had in the title. I checked my email and that's what it was. So, yeah, I can't keep us down. That's the right attitude there, Kayla. Thank you. I sincerely apologize about that. We are going to start this again in just a second. Trying to give it a second so that it won't boot me again. Until then, let's see if I've got an article we can talk about real quick before I play the video. Um, hold on. Here's one. Let's see. I'll pull this up and read this part first, and then we will watch a video. Hey, Pinto. I didn't say hey to you the first time. And thank you guys so much for coming back. You guys are so amazing. Because a lot of people would have left and just been like, yeah, I'm not going back again. Hold on just a minute. I clicked share already and it didn't pull it up. I got too much up. There it goes. All right. So we'll start with this article before I play a video. It states, she was found deceased with 20 stab wounds and it was ruled a self-deletion. Her family could soon get that changed. In January 2011, Ellen Greenburg was found deceased with 20 stab wounds and a 10-inch knife lodged in her chest. This was written Monday, August 5th of 2024, and that's a picture of her. She was so beautiful. She was about to get married. The case of Philadelphia teacher Ellen Greenburg, whose 2011 stabbing unaliving was initially ruled a homicide before the medical examiner switched it to self-deletion after police objected, will be heard by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. It's a bombshell update her parents, Joshua and Sandra Greenburg, have been waiting for. Ellen's manner of unaliving was originally ruled a homicide by officials in 2011, but then it was changed to self-deletion. Since then, her parents have been fighting for justice. This meant getting the court to change the ruling from self-deletion to either homicide or undetermined manner of unaliving. Armed with a team of experts, they conducted an investigation that disputed the self-deletion finding, which they claimed was changed after the insistence of the police. It's been 13 years and the city has been fighting for us every step of the way, Sandra Greenburg told The Independent in April. Ellen was a Philadelphia girl. She deserves better from her city. Now they are one step closer. Ellen's case will now move to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. It appears that there are 5 photos, but I don't know if it'll pull it up. It says Ellen's manner of unaliving was originally ruled homicide by officials in 2011, but then was changed to self-deletion. Isn't that weird? Like, why did they change it to self-deletion? Again, y'all have to let me know what y'all think about this case after we review it. It states, for every citizen, I'll leave it there so you can see the picture. For every citizen in this Commonwealth, this case should potentially have a bearing in their lives or the lives of their family members, said Joseph Pedorza, the family's lawyer, told the Philadelphia Inquirer following the order issued on Tuesday. We believe that if we are allowed to go to trial, that a jury or a judge will decide that evidence is so overwhelming that Ellen did not self-delete, but instead a homicide that will bring some... Okay. We believe that evidence is so overwhelming that Ellen did not self-delete, but instead a homicide that will bring someone or some people to justice. That's the quote. So Greenburg, 27, was found deceased on January 26, 2011 by her fiancé, Samuel Goldberg, at their Manioc neighborhood apartment. She was slumped against cabinets, her legs splayed out in front of her. The beloved elementary school teacher had been stabbed at least 20 times. A 10-inch knife was lodged in her chest. Philadelphia medical examiner Marlon Osborne initially ruled her unaliving a homicide, noting the large number of stab wounds, including 10 to the back of her neck. Like, I'm sorry. How do you do that 10 times to the back of your neck? Thank you for the trigger warning, Abellis. Let me get my banner up. How are you doing that to yourself in the back of your head and the back of your neck yourself? Like, I don't get that. Need some Z said, I don't know for sure, but I feel like the fiance or his family have to have connections to get this ruled a unaliving or a self-deletion. Yeah. There is zero way to do this to yourself. Yep. No one with 2 cents does. Ain't no way she did that to herself. Exactly. That's where I'm at with it. So it's showing you some pictures here, and I've got more. Okay. Okay, we were right here. But police considered her unaliving a self-deletion because her apartment door was locked from the inside, and her boyfriend, who said he found her after breaking down the door, had no defensive wounds. After police publicly changed the findings, Osborne switched the ruling to self-deletion without explanation. For more than a decade now, the Greenburgs have been fighting to have her manner of death changed from self-deletion back to either homicide or undetermined, alleging in civil lawsuits that it was reversed after a closed-door meeting with city police. The Pennsylvania Attorney General's office reviewed Ellen's case in 2019 and ruled her death a self-deletion. In 2022, the office under then Attorney General Josh Shapiro reaffirmed that ruling after again reviewing the case between December 2021 and January 2022. Shapiro, who was the Attorney General from 2017 to 2023, was elected governor of Pennsylvania in 2023 and is reportedly on Kamala Harris vice president shortlist, along with Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, and Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear. In 2019, the Greenburgs filed a civil lawsuit against the medical examiner's office and pathologist Marlon Osborne, seeking to have the manner of their daughter's unaliving changed. But the Pennsylvania Appellate Court ruled that the Greenburgs do not have standing to sue the city of Philadelphia over the investigation into her unaliving. The Commonwealth Court did not rule on whether the manner of unaliving could or should be changed and criticized the investigation into Ellen's death. There's a picture. That's her with her parents. Wasn't she beautiful? I'm going to see what y'all are saying real quick. Hey, Rich Buddy. Rich Buddy says, hello, the only reason I have doubt and believe it's possible she did it is because the nature of the wounds. They show many baby stabs, indicating she worked herself up to the major stabs. On meds and being mentally unstable is possible. Okay. I mean, you know, I could see it. It's possible. I appreciate you sharing your thoughts and opinions. I don't understand how she could have done it to the back of her neck, but I understand how you have that theory and how you believe that, and I can respect that, and I appreciate you sharing that with us. Kayla said, even from a medical standpoint, stab wounds that close to the spinal cord would do significant damage. How someone could continue 20 times is baffling to me. It is me too. I question, though, whether maybe that might have been like the last of them. I mean, like, if I'm trying to say, okay, I need to find a way to show that this was possibly self-deletion, then I might would say maybe she did the other ones first and those were last. I still don't, I mean, I still have, me personally, I have an issue believing that she did it to herself. But, it's possible. Um, Not it's possible, but I understand people who think that she could have, and I respect everybody's thoughts and opinions. Let me put it like that. The panel said that while they were acutely aware of the deeply flawed investigation into the victim's death by the City of Philadelphia Police Department detectives, the City of Philadelphia District's Attorney's Office, and the Medical Examiner's Office, we have no choice under the law and instead sent it back to the lower courts for further action. Even so, in the interest of justice, we believe that providing a detailed review of the victim's unaliving and then ensuing investigation is clearly warranted with the hopes that equity may one day prevail for the victim and her loved ones, wrote Judge Elaine Ciesler in the 13th of September ruling. The, quote, deeply flawed investigation included a crime scene cleanup that happened before the forensics team arrived and sealed it off, according to appellate court documents. So there's a picture of basically what they state that she did with one knife. Like, there weren't that many in her, but like, we can see how these in the back go deeper, and these are just like kind of not very deep in the chest. So maybe that's what Rich Buddy was referring to, like the baby ones. Toxic said, okay, sorry. Okay, Zayo, I just saw that. Hey, Bear and Marshmallow. Toxic said, I thought about that many can be seen as hesitation marks, but the bruising on her is also in places you normally get bruises on. Okay, hold on. Let me read it again. I've thought about that many can be seen as hesitation marks, but the bruising on her is also in places you normally get bruises on. Joy said, wait, I read that wrong. Sorry, I definitely don't think she did it to herself, in my opinion. Bear and Marshmallow said, I really don't think it's possible. Everyone should check out Gavin Fish's video where he and his wife reenact what Ellen would have had to do to create these wounds. I'll look into that. I've got some background music, so maybe I can borrow it or see if I can find that. Thank you for that information, Bear and Marshmallow. Kayla said, such good points. I don't know much about this case, just working things out with y'all. Rich Buddy said, I do for sure in police corruption and bad cover-ups, so I will remain 50-50 for now. Toxic said, not to mention the crime scene is too clean. The blood is only below the counter on the cupboards. Okay. Does it say how deep each one was, or is that just a pic of the location and not the depth? I'm not sure. Need some Z's. It looks like the ones to the chest are like not as deep as the ones to like the back of her head. So that's kind of what I was looking at there. Eek said she crafted a mechanism to fall on 12 sharp things, flap around like a fish. Right? And then Rich Buddy said if someone was attacking her, there be do many minor stabs. That's kind of a good question. Yeah. I have the autopsy report in the Discord. Then fall on 12 sharp things, but they were removed because I don't know. Okay. Oh, Anna D said, wasn't she preparing a fruit salad? Makes no sense. Okay. I appreciate y'all being so vocal about this. I'll finish reading this, and then I'm going to try to play this video and turn the volume down. Play background music. Lord, I'm trying to get it together, y'all, I promise. Nearly a year later, Supreme Court of Pennsylvania granted the appeal filed by Greenburgs of a Commonwealth court ruling last year that prevented their civil case against the city of Philadelphia from going to trial. The state Supreme Court said it will consider whether executors and administrators of an estate have standing to challenge an erroneous finding recorded on the descendant's unaliving certificate that where that finding constitutes a bar or material impediment to recovery of victims' compensation, restitution, or for wrongful unaliving, as well as private criminal complaints. Oral arguments will be heard at court on a future date. The Greenbergs have also filed a second civil lawsuit against the members of the medical examiner's office, the police department, and the DA's office, seeking monetary damages for intentional infliction of emotional distress. The suit remains ongoing. So I'm going to pull this video up from YouTube, and I'm going to check my messages really quickly just to see. Oh yeah. Rich Buddy, you don't have to delete your messages, honey, if you are, because I love to hear other people's thoughts and opinions, like especially if you disagree. I like to know why. I like to hear it and know why. Hold on a minute. Okay. I don't know how I can do that. Let me play this real quick. My intro. I'm going to play my intro that states that everything on this channel falls under fair use. While I try to get this other thing real quick. So I'm going to play this intro to state that everything on my channel falls under fair use, and I'll be right back as soon as it plays.
This is a true crime discussions channel. We speculate. This is all just speculation. Because it's true crime, it's for mature audiences only. There will be no children allowed, no exceptions. Everything on this channel falls under fair use. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's free.
Okay, that gave me time to do this real quick. Maybe. Y'all, I apologize for not having my crap together. I'm just trying to keep the video from getting shut down again. And real quick, I apologize if you're just now coming in. I usually play my missing children's video. And I was not able to do that because I played it on the first one, and then they booted me and were like, yep, nope, not today. So it's not on this one or the song if you're watching on replay. So that's why it's not on this. And it will be from here on out. I'm also going to make a video, an updated video of the missing children. So I'll have this fixed by the next time we come live. This states, it's a disclaimer, and it states, the information in this episode includes the mention of self-deletion. If you or someone you know is struggling with mental health or self-deletion thoughts, know that you are not alone and that help is available. Here are some resources that may be helpful. The National Self-Deletion Prevention Lifeline is 988. The crisis text line, you can text HOME to 741-741. And I guess children, people at colleges may contact CAPS at 541-737-2131. Okay. Thank you so much, my lovely moderators, for helping me with that. So we went over that. Now I'll try to play this video. Let me turn on some background music. Need some Z's. Thank you. I appreciate that. Sorry, I was reading that. Stop, Basil. Goodness gracious. I don't think it was the video. I got an email and it stated that it was because I had this self-deletion word. Okay, I've got background music. Now let's try again. If it becomes too loud, I'll turn it down. I'm going to start this video over. Okay. This video, by the way, is called A Cover-Up, Parents of Teacher Stabbed 20 Times in Self-Deletion Challenge Death Ruling. And it's from Law and Crime Network. I didn't mean to say the D word. All right, so let's try this again. If I get booted, I'll be right back, but hopefully we won't.
We want justice for Ellen. That's what this is all about. Very simple. It's not involved.
The parents of Ellen Greenburg, a 27-year-old woman found stabbed 20 times in her Philadelphia apartment, score a legal victory in their quest to find out how their daughter died.
It was the most crushing blow of our lives.
I lay out the disturbing details of Ellen Greenburg's death and her parents' 13-year fight for answers. Welcome to Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. Ellen Greenburg's parents have been looking for answers for years about her death. They say they just want to know the truth about what happened to their daughter, and they're hopeful they might be getting closer to it. More on that shortly, but first, I want to start at the very beginning. Ellen was just 27 years old when she was found stabbed to death in her apartment that she shared with her fiance. It was January 26th of 2011. Her fiance, Sam Goldberg, called 911.
I need everything out. I just walked into my apartment. My fiance's on the floor with blood everywhere.
What is the address?
4601 Flat Rock Road. Please come help now.
4601
Flat Rock Road.
Is this a house or apartment?
Oh no! Oh no! It's an apartment.
What apartment number?
Please hurry, please.
She's bleeding from.
I don't know. I can't tell.
So you have to calm yourself down in order to get you some help.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm looking at her right now. I can't see anything. There's nothing broken. She's bleeding. Ellie!
Goldberg had been working out at the gym in their building, and he explained what he found when he returned to their apartment.
I went down.
So it's already like, I don't know. He sounded suspicious where he was like, oh no, but I mean, it could have been legit. I don't know how I would react in that situation. I don't know. Definitely weird.
Upstairs to go work out. I came back up. The door was latched. My fiance's inside. She wasn't answering. So after about a half hour, I decided to break it down. I see her now just on the floor with blood. Like she's not responding.
An autopsy report showed that Ellen had been stabbed 20 times. Ellen suffered 10 stab wounds to her neck, going back to front, and others to her chest and abdomen. The steak knife from her own kitchen was found in her heart. Ellen's death had initially been ruled a homicide, but then the medical examiner changed that finding to suicide. That seems curious and has raised a lot of questions. How on earth would someone stab themselves in the back of the neck 10 times? Ellen's parents have never felt they have gotten the truth about Ellen's death. They've been fighting.
It needs some Z's. Is that better, honey? I'm sorry that it was spinning. I'm sorry if it made you if it was making you sick. Anytime my backgrounds mess with y'all, please let me know and I'll change them. I don't mind. I don't want to make anybody sick. Joy said too much info. He's given too much info on the phone. Yeah. Toxic says, I personally think he's working himself up and that he's too calm. You're good. Need some Z's. Thank you for letting me know that it was bothering you. Because if it's bothering you, it's probably bothering somebody else. So don't ever feel like you can't say anything. I'd rather you tell me than to not tell me. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me play this because my computer's having a meltdown.
Since 2011 for answers about what happened to their only daughter, even contacting experts like the late renowned forensic pathologist, Dr. Cyril Wecht, who reviewed the information and wrote that it was his professional opinion that Ellen's manner of death is strongly suspicious of homicide. Other experts have agreed, including neuropathologist Wayne Ross, who wrote, There are multiple bruises over the body, some of which were fresh, many of which were older. The patterns were consistent with a repeated beating, and the scene findings were indicative of a homicide. In 2018, the attorney for Ellen's parents became the district attorney in Philadelphia County, so they asked him to review the case. But there was obviously a conflict, so he asked then Attorney General Josh Shapiro to review the case. In 2019, a spokesperson for the AG's office wrote to a reporter, "We conducted our own thorough investigation to determine a manner of death, interviewing the chief medical examiner of Philadelphia and the medical examiner who performed the autopsy, meeting with the family's representatives, and reviewing information they provided to our attorneys, among other steps." The AG's spokesperson also wrote that they had uncovered other evidence during the review. That included web searches from Ellen's computer that included methods of committing suicide, quick death, and depression in the weeks before her death, along with text messages between Ellen and her family members showing she was in emotional distress the day that she died.
That's weird, but I wonder if she did it or if the boyfriend did it. Hey, Shaboogies and period point blank, thank you so much for being here. Abellas, you asked, did the coroner explain their dumb ruling? I don't know. I know that they changed the ruling in a closed meeting with just the police. Bad Girl said it's like getting shot in the back of the head and they claim you did it to yourself, right? Need Some Z said, I find it very strange and sus how he starts off so frantic, fake in my opinion. And when told to calm down, he was calm as a cucumber. Yeah, great point. That was something that I picked up on as well. Toxic said, how does one stab themselves and clean up, then lay down and pass away? If she did it to herself, cleaning up after herself would be the last thing on her mind. You're 100% right about that as well. But I've heard that when women, supposedly statistically, when women self-delete, they do it in a less messy way so that people don't have to clean up after them. I heard that somewhere a long time ago, and I found that really sad. That's really sad, in my opinion. Hey, Anders, your comment reminded me of that. Hey, Kara. Need Some Z says, I love to find a video that follows the connections of money behind the fiance and his family. There's no way it shouldn't show something. Also, the police investigation slash corruption. Oh, and Shaboogie said, did you know it's super easy to self-latch a door like she had? I didn't know that.
The AG's office determined that the evidence supported suicide as the manner of death and then sent the case back to the Philadelphia DA's office. There has been suspicion among some that there may be connections between Shapiro and people who might not want Ellen Greenburg's death classified a homicide. But Shapiro's office told the Philadelphia Inquirer it had never addressed those claims because they were, quote, not acknowledging unfounded accusations. Ellen's parents have gone to court, suing for information about her death. They've been told they don't have the standing to challenge her manner of death or the medical examiner's findings. But now the Pennsylvania Supreme Court is actually taking their case, which gives them hope that they could be getting closer to answers so many years later. I want to bring in Ellen Greenburg's parents, Sandy and Josh Greenburg. They have...
Kayla said, this is just my opinion, but normally if somebody wants to self-delete, wouldn't you want it to just be fast? Just thinking out loud. I thought so too. And when I heard that statistic, I was like, wow, yeah, I would think somebody would just want it to be fast. But like Toxic said, you could still want it to be fast, but like, for whatever reason, statistically, like women wouldn't use a pew-pew because it's going to create a mess. Like Toxic was saying, a woman might use pills as a way instead of like a pew-pew because it would be less messy. Thank you so much, period point blank, for the kind words. That's super sweet, and I really appreciate that. Thank you for watching my videos. Joy said, I wonder if there's a history of them fighting. Great question. I think she was trying to get out of the relationship. Kara says, the corruption in this case reminds me of the same cover-up and corruption from the Sandra Birchmore case. I believe I've seen a video latching the door from the outside. Oh, wow. That's interesting. Hey, Bacon Matt. Bama Cat. Bacon Matt. Lord have mercy. Bama Cat, welcome back. Bama Cat said she was in the middle of making her lunch. Yeah, that doesn't seem like a time that somebody would do that for sure. Shaboogie said the boyfriend's uncle is a judge for the PA Supreme Court, and he's been the method behind protecting him this whole time. So that would explain the whole closed door meeting with the police and everything. Interesting. Thank you guys for all the information and all of the all of your comments and stuff.
Have been leading the charge on getting answers about their daughter's death for over a decade now. So Sandy and Josh, thank you so much for coming on. A major victory for you guys. You are getting to be heard in front of the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, and they will decide whether or not, potentially, whether you will have standing to basically ask that your daughter's case be reviewed and that you get to maybe challenge her manner of death. So this is a major victory. How are you feeling about this right now?
Great.
We're very optimistic and
We understand what it's all about. We know the odds were like 3,000 to 100 that we would get our case heard. All those things are tremendous. We're not attorneys, so when we go through this case, which we've gone through for actually almost 14 years, we are almost learning about how to become an attorney, because everything we learn is brand new. So the fact we found that the fact that we're being heard by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court is quite a feather in our lawyer's hat and quite a big step for us.
Sandy, you're a mom. I mean, Josh, you're a dad, but Sandy, it's just excruciating being a parent and not having answers. And, you raise your children and you love them and you want what's best for them. And then you get this call. How horrible has this been, not only to lose your daughter, but then to feel that you don't have the answers that you need and that you believe her case was mishandled from day one?
well, number one, it was the most crushing blow of our lives. And I really wasn't in the best shape for quite some time initially.
Toxic Orchard said, self-harm, I believe, isn't necessarily used to delete oneself. I agree, it's to alleviate emotional pain, thereby experiencing... Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Toxic. Shaboogie said, the fact that, to me, says she never added anything about the spinal cord injury, but it's at the very bottom of her report. Okay. Bear and Marshmallow said, I wonder if Sam Goldberg is peeing his pants now that this case is being looked into again. She was trying to get away from him. I believe those healing bruises are very big and telling. I do want to remember the victims in this case. Please say a prayer for them during your daily routine today. Thank you.
Rightfully. We were raising our daughter. We wanted more children, but we were grateful to have one healthy, wonderful young woman. We were raising her to be the best possible version of herself, but not wanting to bring her up like a spoiled brat. I wanted her to be able to stand on her own, walk into a room and feel comfortable with herself. She seemed pretty gregarious, and she could bring, all her friends together.
On a personal note, Ellen was an individual who was an achiever and an individual who made big decisions and followed through on them. She wasn't really happy with her postgraduate situation. She decided, and I agree with her, to change it. And she went ahead and moved to Philadelphia. She got a teaching certificate. She got specialty certificates. She's student taught. She did everything.
Look at her with her students. Isn't that so sweet? Y'all were referencing Micah Miller, and it does remind me of that. Toxic said the bruises look like fingerprints. They are also in different stages of healing and in places one doesn't normally get bruises. This reminds you, bad girl, of Rebecca Ziha case. So shameful. justice for Ellen. Yes. She's so beautiful with her students there.
I think
Master's degrees.
she did everything she had to do on her own. Well, we were like 2 hours away in Harrisburg. Now, 2 hours away, a lot of parents out there are going to say, "Oh, that's almost nothing," and they're right. But our daughter was alone. She was in Philadelphia alone, and she did it all. So it's quite a achievement in my mind.
There's been a lot said about Ellen by some of the officials in this case, that she was suffering from, some anxiety and things of that nature. Would you like to address that at all? Because as it stands right now, her death has been ruled a suicide. It was at first determined to be a homicide and then changed to suicide. Did you have any concerns that Ellen was in a way that made you believe that she was contemplating anything, or that she was depressed or anxious or thinking about taking her own life?
She had anxiety. She was overwhelmed with the number of students per teacher in her classroom. And she had things going, she was planning the wedding, but never did I realize that, after the fact, all these years later, with all the investigation, we didn't know she was having bruising all over her body, that she was being physically abused. I didn't know that then.
We knew.
That's interesting. So even the parents agree that it doesn't look like something that you would just get without being abused in some type of way. Need Some Z says, dude, you can literally open a swing bar latch in about 30 seconds from the outside. There are shorts on here you can look up, easily done from the hallway, in my opinion. Okay, maybe we can try to find some to check that out. I know they stopped using those kind of latch hooks in hotels for that reason, because people could get in them. Rebecca was found nude on her monthly hanging outside her window on the second floor. No woman would self-delete herself like that and in public. Heck no, they wouldn't. I'll have to look into that. Oh, I'm sorry, Kayla. I would be interested in seeing all the crime scene photos. It was said he kicked the door in. Yeah, I've got a few of them that you dropped in Discord, but those are the only ones that I had. Let the dad speak. What a beautiful person she was. Her parents break my heart. Yeah. They are answering. So wedding, high anxiety, stress from student classroom to teacher ratio and physical abuse. Yep. All right. I'm going to let the dad speak now, Eek.
He knew something was wrong. I knew something was wrong. I made a deal with Ellen because I didn't feel I could help her. I didn't have a degree in psychology or psychiatry. I was a periodontalist. I made a deal that if Ellen went to a psychiatrist, somebody who could help her situation, which was, she was at the same time she was sending out save this date cards for a wedding, she was also saying she wanted to come home. Two very incongruent
We couldn't
things.
figure it out.
So I arranged with Ellen that if she went to a psychiatrist who we found and worked with her, and she said she could come home, she could come home. Mm-hmm. Now, we knew there was something different, but we didn't know what it was. When she went to the psychiatrist, we found out, a lot of this we found out after Ellen's death, because we never, my concern when she saw the psychiatrist was to help Ellen and try and save the job.
I don't understand how you're going to self-delete while simultaneously sending out save the date letters. You know what I mean? Who doesn't, Need Some Z says, who doesn't have anxiety? Planning weddings is stressful enough, plus a full-time job and an abusive partner. Right. Shabugi said he did kick the door in, but it can be latched from the outside.
Then we found out about bruises, which were consistent with abuse. And Ellen was also had passed. So a lot of things we found out were post haste. We had no reason to think that anything was really, really wrong. We didn't know about the abuse till after the death. I mean,
When we saw the autopsy report, and it was so
we had no
revealing.
reason to suspect that. Like I said, something was different about my daughter, and I was trying to help her and save her job. That's it. Because we didn't think of anything like abuse.
Hey, Crime Fix viewers, I want to tell you about Wondery's awesome podcast. It's called American Scandal. You can listen right now and explore the biggest political corruption scheme in U.S.
I wanted, Abellis dropped a comment that said, please consider hitting the thumbs up. And I don't like to ask you, but I'll ask you one time, if you wouldn't mind, please consider hitting the thumbs up so we can get out into the algorithm for more people to find out about us and our lives here every day. Let me try to skip past this commercial. I think it ends right here.
Homicide.
Hold on.
Did you feel that they were early and ad-free right now on Wondery Plus and by clicking on our link wondery.fm/law and crime fix. When Ellen's death was first determined to be a homicide, did you feel that they were taking this seriously and treating it as a homicide investigation, or
hey, Steph sells stuff by the seashore. Thank you so much for being here.
me back to that time, or did it get?
I was so numb. We're not law enforcement people. We were like,
we barely
were in a batting cage. You know how the balls just keep coming.
We basically don't even have driver's tickets. I mean, we're law abiding citizens. We both grew up believing the police.
There was a snowstorm. Then we get this horrific, life-changing news that our daughter is no longer with us.
We didn't even get that.
We're Jewish, so you immediately plan. She was an organ donor, which I want, and I know that was important to her. She wanted to give her organs and her retinas and do all that stuff to help other people.
Real quick, Shaboogie said, y'all, if you're ever in an abusive relationship, please tell at least one person. My abusive ex held it against me for telling people, but if I hadn't and something happened, any of us could be Ellen. And please remember that if you're in an abusive relationship, seek help. There's somebody out there. There's numbers you can call. I'll drop them in the description box below after the live.
People, but apparently her autopsy was very extensive. Till the body was removed from the Philadelphia morgue back to Harrisburg, back to our synagogue. They do Chevra Kadisha, and she was being buried in a traditional Jewish service. It went very, very quickly. I wasn't raised to be able to deal with this, but we did, and we tried to do it in the most respectful way. And we want to make our daughter proud, and that's why we're pursuing all that we are.
If you had heard the call we got from the fiance's father, he never said Ellen was dead. He never even said she passed. He only said that
something terrible has happened to Ellie. And we don't even refer to her as Ellie.
And he didn't even say anything about a ambulance coming or anything like that.
Wow, that's interesting. Abellis, thank you so much for gifting 10 memberships. I really appreciate that. You're so awesome. You're so sweet. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, my computer went crazy. Hold on, I'm going to play our new membership clip. Thank you so much, Abellis. You're amazing. Thank you so much, Abellis. That was super sweet of you. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
All the communication between us and them, meaning the fiance's parents and the police and the district attorney was so evasive and so
Vague.
that we didn't even know what was going on. We had no idea.
I asked Sandy and Josh Greenberg when they had last spoken to Sam Goldberg and his family.
I would speak to him periodically after Ellen passed, even though he and his family associates chose not to join us in Shiva. I don't know what they were doing in Philadelphia, but they weren't with us, which I think we should have all been together if we were all going to be a family.
The only thing I knew was they were purporting the misinformation that Ellen had a psychological problem. The diagnosis was anxiety. That's not a psychological problem where you kill yourself. And they just don't do it. And also, her psychiatrist said she was not suicidal, and was written in her notes like that.
I've made attempts to reach out to Sam Goldberg, but haven't been able to reach him. I also asked Josh and Sandy Greenberg about Ellen's injuries. A rendering shows what her injuries looked like, including a gash to Ellen's head. I don't want to bring up something so horrific, but it's a key point here, and this is your daughter. But you've had experts go over her case for you many times. She had 20 stab wounds, and 10 of those were to the back of her neck. There's a Justice for Ellen Facebook page, and there's a
Toxic said, I wonder if she had any self-defense wounds. I don't think she did, but there were bruises on her arms that looked like thumbprint bruises. The boyfriend also did not have any self-defense, like wounds to show that he might have done something. You know, like for instance, I'm actually working on a video to get out for you guys on Stepping Stearns, and it talks about how he has one big scratch on his right hand on the top of it and several smaller scratches all around his hands. Like, let me just put a trigger warning, but like as if maybe he was choking somebody, and then, you know, they're scratching at his hands to try to get him to move his hands. There was nothing like that from what I understand on her boyfriend. So I don't know. I don't know about the defensive wounds. That's all I know so far, and that's what I've heard. And yeah, anxiety is not something that would suggest self-deletion to me. I am curious about the Google searches, though, about how to unalive yourself and things like that. Again, though, I wonder if it was actually her who looked that up.
There's a diagram on there, a graphic, and it said 8 to the chest, 1 to the head, 1 to the abdomen, but 10 to the back of her neck. And I just don't understand how anybody could think that somebody somehow could stab themselves 8 times in the back of the neck. And your experts have said the same thing.
Well,
so
I think the next question for you is, you need to talk to the Philadelphia establishment, meaning the Attorney General, the District Attorney, the Philadelphia Police Department, and the Philadelphia ME. They need to look at those things. We didn't know any of those things existed. We've been in the dark. And
Okay, so Toxic said no, but bruises. I wonder if the back of the neck stab that severed her cord was the first strike. I'm wondering that myself. Anders, yes, we were just relating this case to Micah Miller. I don't know how you say her name. In the comment section, they were talking about that. This states there was 20 stab wounds, 10 to the back of the neck, 8 to the chest, 1 to the head, and 1 to the abdomen.
if we didn't pursue this, we wouldn't know any of this because they didn't share anything with us.
In fact, as strange as this is going to seem to you, there's a gash on her head. Have you seen any pictures?
Like this.
They don't even mention that in the autopsy. There are other things that are not mentioned about Ellen's physical condition in the autopsy that we didn't even realize or think about.
If you're ultimately successful at the Pennsylvania Supreme Court and they determine somehow that you're able to challenge, you know, if you are able to have standing and somehow get Ellen's case reviewed What's the next step for you? I mean, is there an exhumation? I mean, what happens
No, a
after
trial. There's enough evidence that we have experts also. There would be a trial. And the purpose of the trial is to get the medical examiners to change the conclusion of suicide to undecided or homicide. Now, here's the problem with that. The medical examiner's conclusion cannot be cannot be challenged by any normal tools. So we're breaking precedent there also. So there's two big precedents, as far as I know. There may be third or fourth, who knows, that we've learned about that we're challenging: the medical examiner's conclusion and standing. So you got two things that work against a person when they have this type of situation. We're not alone. It may started out that we were getting quote unquote justice for Ellen, and we are trying to get justice for our daughter. But there's other people out there that have backed out. When I was in practice, I was a periodontist. I had a patient whose attorney convinced her to back out on the whole thing because she's not going to win. I've had two attorneys, one working for the New York criminal justice system, and one who's a criminal defending lawyer, retired, who I would say within the last 3-4 months told me to give up. You're not going to win. I didn't. And I didn't say, what about if it was your daughter? But I'm just telling you what's out there. There are
They're trying to keep him from looking into this case, from getting anything done. This is crazy. Yeah, what about her spinal cord injury, right?
precedents are obviously in the law that date back God knows how long that should not be there. The medical examiner should not be able to walk on water. He's not infallible. He's a human being like you or me. And they can come up with the wrong conclusion if they have the wrong facts. And here they had the wrong facts. And we're probably going to talk about.
They absolutely had the wrong facts. And I have to ask if it was on purpose or by accident. And I think it was very intentional and on purpose.
About the famous meeting between the medical examiners and the police, where the police fed them the wrong facts. So they changed homicide to suicide.
Also when the district attorney was involved in one of the secret meetings.
Talk to me a little bit about what you're referring to with the meeting between police and the medical examiner, where you're saying they were given false facts.
First of all, we found out about these secret meetings only because we were pursuing the case and these people were deposed. And so we have that information. Otherwise, they wouldn't have delivered this stuff to us. And we don't even have all the material that the Philadelphia police are withholding from us.
Suicide is not a crime. There's no reason if you're not a crime. And the case is also closed to withhold any information from our attorneys. But the Philadelphia authorities have only given us about 70% of what they have so far.
What? The case is already closed. I should be able to submit a FOIA request and get everything on it. And their attorneys can't even get it. Wow. This screams of corruption.
After a judge ordered them to turn it all over.
Wow.
What do you ultimately...
And the judge ordered them to turn it over and they still haven't. Oh, yeah. This is a cover-up if I've ever seen one.
Want to see, let's say it is changed to homicide. This would have to start from square one. I mean, you believe, I would assume that this has been botched from the very beginning.
Absolutely.
We haven't gone that far. We are trying to, get an unbiased investigation by an unbiased team with an unbiased leader. That's what our suit is about.
And guess what? If it leaves Philadelphia, maybe it will have an unbiased opinion.
Okay. You asked the question and I answered it. We want the truth.
I answered mine too.
We want justice for Ellen. That's what this is all about. Very simple. It's not involved. We have never, ever pointed a finger at any individual or group of individuals that has caused our daughter's death. That she was murdered by you or A or B or C. Never.
The Greenbergs have a lot of support. There's a Justice for Ellen Facebook page that posts updates frequently, and the case has received widespread coverage.
We love the support of the
Abellis, FOIAs are usually free. FOIA is the Freedom of Information Act. I don't know, because you're in Canada, if you could do it. You should be able to, though. I know Americans can't pull information from Canada, but you might be able to pull information from the United States. Usually they're free. Sometimes they'll charge you money, but all the ones that I've done are either free or they'll tell me that I can't have them. Like phone calls, they don't like to give them to me. Toxic said it's shelved and it's going to a grand jury. Kayla said, that's so sad that her own parents can't get the information on their own child. As a parent, that infuriates me. I feel the same. Bad Girl brings up again, the boyfriend has a judge as his uncle. Yeah, that was on the Supreme Court. And yeah, the FOIAs, I would suggest, it doesn't cost anything to get a FOIA or submit a FOIA request. So if you're looking for information, do that, because you never know. Like, the worst thing they can do is say no. You know what I mean?
Followers of Justice for Ellen on Facebook, and we love the support that the media is giving us and the fact that you're listening, spreading the word, because when you spread the word, it's in the universe.
It comes down to this.
Universe, people, the truth will set us free.
If it wasn't for the media, we wouldn't have gotten this far. And we thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy
Seriously.
and Josh. And just to let you know, I reached out to the officer of now Governor Josh Shapiro. He used to be the AG, as I mentioned earlier. At the time of this recording, I have not yet heard back. And that's it for this episode of Crime Fix.
Anna, I'm not sure if the boyfriend took a polygraph or not. If they're ruling it a self-deletion, probably not. I do have the Governor Josh Shapiro backed the ruling of self-deletion. I was going to show you real quick. Hold on, I got to reload it. I pulled up how easy it is to lock a latch from the outside, like the one that they had. So I was going to show you that real quick. Hold on just a second and give my page a second to load, and then we'll see it. Toxic said they still have
A 27-year-old woman found stabbed 20 times in her Philadelphia
gosh.
apartment.
They still have all her personal effects. I'd say self-deleted. Why keep all her personal effects they took from the apartment, right? Exactly. Okay. So this is a 28-second video that's going to show us how easy it is to open this latch from the outside. This is from MM Developer, and it's called Opening Our Hotel Room Door in Under 30 Seconds Using Paper Menus. So this is the same kind of latch that was on her door when they stated it was locked from the inside and he had to kick it down. Could probably lock it too. I don't know.
All right, hold on. Okay. I feel so great about our hotel choice now.
So y'all,
Hold on.
I'll mute it and we can watch it again, but y'all can see how easy it is. And remember that when you guys are in hotel rooms and things, how easy it is for somebody to open your door, especially in a city you don't know, or, you know, dangerous places we go. Super easy, just with a paper menu, like the paper that's in the hotel lobby. Because you always have them little paper menus down in the hotel lobby. That is scary. Need Some Z's says, it's absolutely so infuriating to me that we can't get information on crime cases like you can in the States. I wish we could here in Canada. Oh, I'm so sorry, love. I can't get anything on Canada. That makes you feel better. They can charge a lot, something. Plunder, Docket, and Gray Hughes have paid thousands of dollars for some of the Matty Soto documents. Yeah. Yep, they have. All right. So, here's from the paramedic. We'll see what the paramedic said.
Information is.
This is Ellen Greenburg, paramedic. Scene was strange. Looked like a crime. And this is from News Nation.
Brian Enton, who joins me live once again from Philadelphia. All right, so today, another bombshell. I mean, Brian, you and your team have been unearthing remarkable things that I think will lead to a big change in this case. Today, you spoke with the paramedic who actually responded at the time of this incident. What did you discover?
Yeah, it just keeps unraveling, Ashley. We're outside the Philadelphia Police Department again. They're not talking, but plenty of others connected to the case are, including that paramedic. He has never spoken before, but he decided he was going to speak to us today. He's been a firefighter paramedic for more than 3 decades. He remembers responding to that scene very, very well and thinking that it was suspicious very early on. Take a look. Take me back to 2011 when you got the call, the Ellen Greenburg call. Take me back to the beginning.
We were obviously coming from the firehouse. It came in as a cardiac arrest unresponsive code blue. And as I looked into the room, I could see the victim on the floor in what was like a kitchenette area. And there was quite a bit of amount of blood in front of her on her chest and some in the room. And the knife was still sticking out of her chest. There was a knife sticking out of her chest. So I could see she was exceedingly pale. The room was warm, but she was cold. And the tips of her fingers were starting to get blue. So the engine lieutenant said, look, we didn't go in because we looked at it as though it might be a crime scene. And I said, I think your supposition's correct. And once I went in and realized there was no pulse, I didn't disturb anything other than to leave it the way I saw it. There were some things that did seem a little strange for this kind of a call. One, that the knife was still sticking out of the chest. And then there were some other wounds where I felt that, if I remember correctly, there was one in her back shoulder blade. I can't remember which side, but I thought to myself, well, to do that, you'd have to be somewhat double or even triple jointed.
So you were suspicious even.
So to be able to stab yourself where she was stabbed at in the shoulder blade, she'd have to be double or triple jointed, says the paramedic. Like, again, cover up, in my opinion. Toxic said if the parents can't get all the information, we won't be able to, especially since the parents' lawyers have said there will be a grand jury to decide who investigates it more. Yeah, I definitely won't be able to pull the information on it. But I do appreciate what you have got for me.
At that moment.
From the beginning. Right. Both my partner and I felt that somebody somehow had access. Now, who it was, but there was certainly no forced entry into the building.
And that paramedic actually got a very good look at the condition of Ellen's body and even had an interaction with the fiance, Sam Goldberg. Take a look.
It looked like, to me, it had to have been about an hour. The blood was coagulating in all the pool spots. It wasn't fresh. It wasn't fully liquid. It was coagulated. And the fact that her fingertips were blue meant she didn't have oxygen for quite some time. And the body was cold, but the room was warm. So he kept asking us, is she okay? I can't believe this happened. And in listening just off to the side, where the police officer was asking about where was he, and he kept saying, oh, I was downstairs in the weight room.
I mean, you walked in and saw her. Do you think someone could walk in and not see the knife sticking out of her chest?
No, not at all.
It was totally visible?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It was
And remember, he stated he didn't know what happened. He didn't see anything. He couldn't tell. But they're saying she had a freaking knife sticking out of her chest. How did you miss the knife that was sticking out of her chest, sir? The fiance, remember in the 911 call we heard, he was like, I don't know. I can't tell. There's just blood everywhere. But there's a knife sticking out of her chest, sir. Weird. Oh, okay. Thank you, Abellis. Kayla said, I have a degree in cybersecurity. We take a course on pins testing. Pins testing. You can YouTube search pin tester unlocks doors and find out how just unsecure everything is. It's scary. Oh, wow. Rubber Ramada said that that's a lot for paramedics to experience. Yeah, no doubt. Toxic said if was cold like that, he said she was there longer than an hour. Yep.
Visible loss going through into where she was propped up against the cabinet. Very hard to miss. To see the knife still embedded in the chest and being a large knife the way it was, again, didn't quite fit. You know, all those things that you think about of, well, who else was here? Was more the case then. Could she have done this by herself?
He says, Ashley, that he does not believe in any way that this could have been a suicide. He also noticed something very particular about the fiance's clothing that I'm going to tell you tomorrow night. And we were able to get the surveillance video from the apartment building. We'll have that for you tomorrow night, too.
Oh, right. But before I let you go, I do want to know about the status of the investigation. Like, are they just leaving it? Is it a cold case? Is it not a case? I mean, they still call it a suicide.
Yeah, well, you mentioned in the beginning, I mean, we've tried reaching out to all the agencies. It's hard to get information. The good news here, though, and this is a big deal, is that the Pennsylvania Supreme Court is reviewing the case. Ellen's parents have taken it all the way to the Supreme Court. There's apparently going to be a hearing in the beginning of 2025 about whether the cause of death can be challenged. So that part of things is really moving in the right direction. The fact that this got the Supreme Court's attention is a big deal, Ashley.
Thanks for watching. Go to join NN.
I hope I have that second part of the video in here somewhere. Okay, so here's from the security guard. Maybe that's the second part of the video. This is called suspicious self-deletion. Security guard doesn't feel case was properly investigated. From Banfield and News Nation. Maybe. Let me try to make it big. The following content may contain talk about self-harm. So there are numbers that you can call if you are experiencing anything like that. Please call 988 for the self-deletion and crisis line. It's free, it's confidential, and it's available 24 hours. Or you can chat as well. Okay, let me try this again. It's acting up. I'm assuming that's why.
I do not have enough airtime to run down all the reasons that suicide is a very hard sell in the death of Ellen Greenburg. But here is one. Ellen's fiance, the man who found her body, told police that he had to break down the door to get to her and was with building security, the actual guard, when he did so.
Toxic asked, did the neighbors hear anything? I don't know. I'm not sure.
The trouble is that security guard told police he was nowhere near that fiance or that door when the door got kicked in. Our Brian Enton, of course, tracked down that security guard 13 years later after Ellen's death. And here's what he has to say about it today.
Did Sam ever ask you to go, or did you ever go with Sam up to the door when he was trying to get in?
No.
Do you know where that story came from?
Came from him. He know I didn't walk up with him, and I get angry when I hear that, because for him to lie on me or any concierge who would have been there at that particular time, says a lot about him.
We were just at Ellen's best friend's house, and she was telling us that she talked to Sam afterwards, and he said that the security guard advised him to use his shoulder to bust open the door.
Really? Okay, if that's what he says, hey, truth don't need no company, man. You know, if that's what he said, that's what it is for him. My cameras and my
That man said the truth don't need any company.
God said I was sitting at the front desk and advised him not to go upstairs. I know he lied. He know he lied. But why doesn't his assistant say, well, did anybody ever ask him, why did you lie on the guard? That was it. We have proof to say that he, I don't know if anybody talked to him that way. I don't know why they don't talk to him that way. I certainly would talk to him that way, because if I applied my street knowledge to it, I can get to him. Say, what the f*** you talking about, man?
Abellis, he's laughing because it's frustrating. Some people, when they get frustrated, they'll laugh or whatever. He knows the man's lying, and he's kind of laughing like, I can't believe these people believe him and this lie that he's telling.
F***ing well I wouldn't. I can go to him like that. They're going to arrest me later. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. And Brian Enton joins me live now from Philadelphia. Two things are unbelievable: that you were able to track down all these people and get those incredible interviews, and what they actually said. Let's just start with that building management security guard. 13 years later, Brian, he seems crystal clear in his memory of what happened.
He is, and he's very emotional, Ashley. I mean, he almost really broke down at one point. He's disturbed by the whole thing, and he's upset that he wasn't believed. And
I think that's why he was laughing, because he's upset he wasn't believed. Abellis, no, that was the security guard. I'm sure that they probably have him on camera. They probably have him on camera sitting at the desk when the boyfriend went up and ain't even going to tell anybody. Toxic said, I want video of him leaving the apartment and how long he was working out for. Me too. Me too.
And he's just another person who has told us that they don't feel that this was properly investigated.
So I'm just gobsmacked by the interview, because at first I thought maybe the only inconsistency was the story that Sam Goldberg told the police, which was, I went back up to the front door of the apartment I shared with my fiance, and the building security guard accompanied me when I broke down the door. Clearly that was a lie, according to the guard. He said, I never was there. I told him not to do that. But also the fact that he said the guard told him to use his shoulder, and that he did it twice, according to Ellen's friend.
Anders, okay, love, thank you for hanging out with us and being here today.
He said, just not true. I didn't do that.
Yeah, and that was Ellen's friend Allison, who said that when she talked to Sam, Sam said that he used the shoulder to push the door in. And when we asked the guard about it, he almost like laughed. He's like, no, I would never say that. I never told him to push the door in. I never left the concierge desk in the lobby of the condo. And he says he told the police that. He says he told the police that early on.
I just can't understand how that wouldn't be something that factors into this suicide reclassification. It's confounding.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com.
Okay, that was that short video. I'll show you guys some pictures I have of the crime scene real quick. Bless you, Basil. Cup 'em, boys, says Eek. Okay, let me do it this way. Hold on, my computer is loading. Let me pull this up because it shows the pictures that I have from the scene. Oh, I got these pictures and this information from As the Gavel Drops Discord. I got a lot of it, and my friend that gives me stuff from that Discord, I will make sure to link it in the description box below so that you guys can get this information for yourself. They do have documents on this case, like actual police documents. I just don't have them right now. I probably won't have time to read them. So this, it's hard to see, but right here, there are fingerprint bruises, and it goes up like that. I don't think I can make it any bigger. Yeah, I can't. But they're saying that is caused by doing something like this. Like somebody grabbing your hand like that. That's how that would cause a bruise like this. That's the latch and the door, or maybe an example because that door doesn't appear to be broken down. That is the picture we saw earlier showing the wounds and that big gash in her head. This is the counter. She was making a fruit salad. That's what they were talking about. There's the blueberries and the cantaloupe and the oranges and the turned over knife block right here. You can see the knives are spilled out of it. There's a picture of water, a Brita water filter. This is showing some of the chest wounds. I'm assuming all these wounds would probably be fatal. That's why they're marked E, H, I, and N. Because of how deep they go. And here you can see how deep it's going. So I think all of these wounds would have been fatal just by themselves. So therefore, after one of these wounds, you could not keep continuing to do the other three. Because you would have already had a fatal stab wound. Okay, thank you, Toxic. That is the unaliving weapon. That is another door. I don't think that's her door, but that's another picture of a door with the lock like that. This is the layout of the house. So up here is bedroom 1. There's a closet and a bathroom. Right here is the living room. Here's the kitchen and the entry to the kitchen. There's a pantry here. There's a bathroom, a closet, and a second bedroom here. And then right here, there's a stick figure showing where her body was in between the stove and the sink here, up against the counters. And this shows, obviously, you know what that is on the floor. And then it looks like splatter over here. Marks on the floor. Contact with the cabinet while she was bleeding. Right here. From what I understand, she was nude as well, which is really weird to me. How are you making a fruit salad and in the nude, and then this happens? I will attempt to grab that Discord link for As the Gavel Drops and drop it while we watch another short video. Let me see. Okay, so we can watch this one real quick while I grab that link. I don't know if I can drop it.
So Ellen's fiance, Sam Goldberg, has never...
I don't know if I can drop it, Toxic, because it's not letting me access my live streams anymore from my YouTube, but I will try.
Never been named a suspect, and the Pennsylvania Supreme Court recently ruled that Ellen's parents can challenge that suicide ruling. Joining us now to break down this case, criminologist Dr. Debbie Goodman. Dr. Goodman, really looking forward to your insights on this one. Does it make sense to you that 20 stab wounds would initially be ruled a homicide and then switched to a suicide?
Good afternoon, Kelly. Always a pleasure to join you. Does it make sense to me? It absolutely does not. And we can start the conversation, of course, with data analytics and what we know. what we know that the last 3 to 5 calendar years, suicide has been on the uptick, according to our CDC, our Center for Disease Control, and WHO, World Health Organization. And we also know, Kelly, that there are circumstances that would point to when a female commits a suicide, we're usually looking at a hanging, a strangulation, drowning, drug overdose. For men who commit suicide, the circumstance involves a gunshot.
See, that's what we were just referencing earlier, how when a female does it, you heard the ways that she said they do it, hanging, drowning, the other way, but a man is going to be make more of a mess. That's what we were referring to. Yes, Sarah, is that as the gavel drops? Yep, that's the link. Thank you so much, Sarah. And Zayo found the 911 call for us, so we'll listen to that next.
A knife wound. And then the distinction, of course, between suicide and homicide: suicide, the self-inflicted death; homicide, the unlawful death by another. And so when we just look at the 20 stab wounds, Kelly, that in and of itself is overkill, and it is extremely inconsistent with the category of suicide and much more consistent with the category of homicide.
So, Dr. Commonwealth Court there criticized how Philadelphia authorities handled this investigation, calling it deeply flawed. From your perspective, are there red flags and flaws with how this investigation was initially conducted?
So when these investigations are conducted, Kelly, any type of death, it has to involve policy, procedure, protocol. There must be elements in place that are followed, and nothing can just be quickly determined. So that's why we have our experts. We have the detectives, the investigators, the crime scene analysts, who together will look in totality and in its entirety of a lot of different elements. Of course, the crime scene itself, but to include, and very importantly so, with whom does this victim interact, and particularly family members, the close, intimate relations of a fiance, co-workers, friendships. Digital evidence is so important to take a look at, and it would again tell the story. That's what has to happen, Kelly. Sadly, victims who are decedents, they can't tell the story, but that's why we need the experts who can piece all of the facts together and make an accurate decision.
And it sounds like they're not doing that.
Yeah, let's talk about that storyline for just a moment. So investigators on the scene, they treated her death as a suicide because that apartment door, which Goldberg said he broke down, was locked from the inside. There were no signs of an intruder. Greenburg had no defensive wounds. What do you make of those facts and then the storyline we've been presented in this case?
Right. Well, also, it's very unusual to me that an investigation would be conducted and a conclusion, at least based on the facts that we know, would be ruled the suicide. But let's also remember that it goes to the ME for analysis, and the ME's office originally said that it was a homicide, and yet that gets changed to a suicide. So something here simply just doesn't look right, sound right, feel right. And remember, anybody can say anything, meaning just when you had the security officer on, he said the story that Sam tells is quite different than what he remembers. So I'm in agreement that this case has to be reopened, re-examined, reviewed, and hopefully an accurate decision will come.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to...
Okay, let me pull up this 911 call real quick, and we'll listen to that. And then I think I've got maybe 1 or 2 more clips that we'll have on this case, and then I'll probably go for the day so I can try to get this video out. I've actually got 2. Bellis, I got one that I got to make on some information that I just got that you might be interested in. So I'll have a big video coming out, and then I'll make the other video for something you requested after that. It'll be the second video I put out. Okay, hold on just a minute. Hold on just a minute. Let's listen to this 911 call that Zio got for me. It's going to have to load 500 things. Don't you play no Taylor Swift. Don't you do it. I'll get in trouble. All right, this is from the Daily Mail. And it says, disturbing 911 call from Samuel Goldberg after Ellen Greenburg death. And I'm going to play it. It's 4 minutes and 9 seconds. I want to give you a trigger warning. There might be some kind of commercials. Don't know. Yeah, this is a commercial. I'll mute that real quick. Oh, wait a minute. I can skip the ad.
Help, I need a emergency now. I just walked to my apartment. My fiance's on the floor with blood everywhere.
What is the address?
4601 Flat Rock Road. Please come help now.
4601
Flat Rock Road.
Is this a house or apartment?
Oh no! Oh no! It's an apartment. Please hurry, please.
Where is she bleeding from?
I don't know. I can't tell.
No, sir, you have to calm yourself down in order to get you some help.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm looking at her right now. I can't see anything. There's nothing broken. She's bleeding. Ellie!
You don't know where she's bleeding.
Remember, there was a knife wound in her chest. Like, there was a knife sticking out of her chest at this time, is what everybody, the paramedic said, who arrived on the scene first. How are you missing a knife in her chest?
Bleeding from? Can't see where the blood's coming from?
I think her head. I think she hit her head, But it's everywhere.
Okay,
it's everywhere.
Think she might have fallen? Do you know what happened?
She may have slipped. There's blood on the table. Her face is a little purple.
Okay, hold on for rescue for her. Stay on the phone.
I went downstairs to go work out. I came back up. The door was latched. My fiance's inside. She wasn't answering. So after about a half hour, I decided to break it down. I see her now just on the floor with blood. Like she's not.
Okay, I don't know why it keeps doing that.
She's not responding.
Okay, is she breathing? Look at her chest. I need you to calm down, and I need you to look at her chest. It's really.
I really don't think she is.
Listen to me. Someone's on the way. Look at her chest. Is she flat on her back?
She's on her back. So I bring her.
Look at her chest and tell me if it's going up and down, up and down.
I don't see her moving.
Okay. Do you know how to do CPR?
I don't.
Okay, I can tell you what to do. Okay, until they get there. I want you to keep her flat on her.
God.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi. Okay.
Are you willing to do CPR with me over the phone until they?
The way he just said, oh God, and then, yeah, hi. And she's asking him to look at her chest, and he's not mentioning the knife sticking out of it. Like, that's so weird. Kara said she had several stab wounds to the back of her head. Toxic said he didn't see the knife. That would be the first thing you see. Right. The blood everywhere. Yeah, eek, and everywhere else. How in the fudge did you self-delete with that many stab wounds to the back of your head, let alone chest? Right. He's way too calm. After an hour and a half, he decides to break in. Yeah. Yeah, right. After an hour and a half. He's way too calm. Yep.
So
I have to, right?
Okay, to get her fed on?
A CPR, I have to, right? I have to. I have to perform CPR on this broad. I don't want to, but I have to, is what that sounded like to me.
Her back, bare her chest, okay? You want to
Hold on.
rip her shirt off, okay? Kneel down by her side.
Oh, my God. Ellie, please.
Listen, you can't freak out, sir, because you
Okay, I'm trying not to. Her shirt won't come off. It's a zipper. Oh, my God. She stabbed herself.
Where?
She found a knife. Oh, no. Her knife's sticking out.
Her what?
There's a knife sticking out of her heart.
Oh, she stabbed?
Okay. there's a knife sticking out of her heart. There's a knife sticking out of her chest, but you're just now seeing that? Like, sir, excuse me? You were just looking at her chest to see if it was moving upside down, up and down. You were told to perform CPR and acting like you don't. Like, I have so many problems right now.
Stab herself?
I guess so. I don't know where she fell on it. I don't know.
Okay, well, don't touch it.
Okay, so I just let her here now. I mean, what do I do?
No, I mean, you can't. If the knife is at her chest, it's going to be kind of hard for you to do CPR at this time.
Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Police with operator.
Oh no. Oh my goodness. Like, seriously? Let me see what y'all are saying. I have to, right? Yeah, eek. Oh my God. Shaking my head. How can he push on her chest with a knife in it for CPR? So fake, says Anna D. Kara said she fell on a knife. Did I hear that right? She fell on a knife. Yeah. Toxic said, I think she was attacked when her back was turned. Eek is face palming. Abella says, reminds me of Sarah Boone faking CPR while she smoked and did her nails. Wow. Kara said her shirt has a zipper, so he zipped the knife up. Come on now. Kayla, I was thinking the same thing. Sorry, it was Kayla who said that. And I was thinking the same thing. Like, you're just now seeing it because the shirt had a zipper, so they zipped the knife up that was sticking out of her chest. Are you serious? Yeah, he did. He said that she fell on the knife. Yeah. I'll back it up just a little bit, but yeah, that's what he said. I'll back it up to 2 minutes.
Okay, I'm trying not to. Her shirt won't come off. It's a zipper. Oh, my God. She stabbed herself.
Where?
She fell on a knife. Oh, no. Her knife's sticking out.
He said, oh, my God, she stabbed herself. She fell on a knife. I don't know. Her knife is sticking out.
What?
There's a knife sticking out of her heart.
Oh, she stabbed herself?
I guess so. I don't know where she fell on it. I don't know.
Okay, well, don't.
And why do you automatically go to she stabbed herself? Not somebody stabbed her, somebody broke in, something happened. I don't know. Like, automatically she did it to herself. This guy is full of bullshit.
Don't touch it.
Okay, so I just let her here now. I mean, what do I do?
No, I mean, you can't. If the knife is at her chest, it's going to be kind of hard for you to do CPR at this time.
Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Police with operator. 277.
Is someone coming here?
Yes, they are. You said 4601 Flat Rock, right?
Yes.
Okay, someone's on the way. And the knife is still inside?
Wait, so what?
The knife is still inside of her?
Yes, I didn't take it out.
Was it her chest or what?
He just laughed. Yeah, I didn't take it out, and laughed. And laughed. Wow.
It's in
her chest. It looks like it's right in her heart.
Okay, someone's on the way out there. Okay, just get.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Okay,
how old is she?
She's 27.
27, and there's no sign of life at all.
No, please don't be. What?
Been turned to her arm and tell me if she responds to pain.
She's Ellie. She's not. Her arm, her hands are still warm. I don't know what that means, but there's blood everywhere. I mean.
I know, but you can't. And the knife is still inside of her. How?
He said her hands are still warm, but when the paramedic got there, which I'm sure was not long afterwards, he said her body was cold and her fingertips were turning blue.
Far? Can you see how far it went in?
It looks pretty deep.
Okay.
It looks straight. I mean, it's a long knife.
Don't touch anything. Yeah, don't touch anything. Okay.
I'm not touching anything. I can't believe this, though.
So wait, it was just you
I can't believe this.
there with her?
We're the only ones here.
And she ran in the door. You said latched it shut.
No. I went downstairs to work out, and when I came back up, the door was latched. Like it was, it wasn't like it was, it was like locked from the inside, and I'm yelling, so I'm
was
yelling.
Your house broken into?
No.
So there's no sign of a break-in?
No sign of a break-in at all. I mean, there will be when you get here because I had to break the latch, but to get in.
Okay, 4601.
Wow. Oh my God, y'all. That is insane. And zipped up her shirt, says Kara. Yeah. What? What the crap? What the crap? Y'all. Heck no, it's not self-deleting. Abella said, that is just not how one commits that act. Exactly. Kara said, I'm sorry. If my husband was home alone and the door felt like it was barred shut, I wouldn't wait 1.5 hours. I'd be kicking the door within 10 minutes. Not even. Yeah, I'd be kicking that door in too. If my husband goes in the bathroom too. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, like if my husband's in there and I'm calling for him and he's not answering the door, yeah, I'm about to mule kick that mug. I'm coming in. I'm not waiting for somebody else. I'm coming in. This is no self-deleting. Shaking my head, where's the cups? Right. I feel like this call alone is a perfect example that it is not self-deletion. Yep. Toxic said her hands warm. Paramedic said hands were cold, fingers turning blue. She probably told him, I'm done with you and your abuse, get out. And he wasn't having it. I mean, I could definitely see that thought, theory, or speculation happening. It makes sense to me. He was on some bullshit. Yep. Hold on, I got something for that 911 call and what he was doing during it.
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit?
That's what that 911 call was right there. Okay. I'm not playing that 43-minute one because I think that's the Nancy Grace one. I'm not real happy with Nancy Grace at the moment. Here's Governor Josh Shapiro. So this is the governor who was the attorney general. I think we read in that article from 2017 to 2023. Now, Governor Josh Shapiro backed Ellen Greenberg's self-deletion ruling in 2011. This is again Ashley Banfield from News Nation. Let's see what they say about
In
this.
2018, one of their attorneys became the DA in Philadelphia, to avoid a conflict of interest, he sent the case to the state attorney general, in fact, who at the time...
Jenny, that was the 911 call, and then I played the bullshit meme of the little boy saying it in a car seat.
Time was this guy. If he looks familiar, he should. It's Josh Shapiro. The same Josh Shapiro who is now Pennsylvania's governor. And Governor Shapiro, back then, he too signed off on that suicide finding. Suicide! He signed off on it. Governor! But then came allegations, never proven, that Josh Shapiro, now governor, also had a conflict, a relationship with the family of that fiance, Sam Goldberg. Yesterday, our Brian Enton sat down with Ellen Greenburg's parents, Josh and Sandy Greenburg. And here's what they said about the winding path that this case has taken, and about Josh Shapiro in particular.
Did it bother you that Shapiro it doesn't seem like he took a personal interest in your case?
Yeah. But we have no power. I still don't have power over him.
But I wonder why he didn't.
Why we didn't? Or
why he didn't.
Beats me. I think, okay, I'll answer that. I think he tried to keep his hands off as much as possible.
That's possible. I like that the dad is being more candid in this interview.
I think deep down he knew this was a hot potato. He might have known.
Right, Kara, and you would.
Other things that we didn't know also, like why this is happening, that we don't know.
Well, we emailed his office and haven't heard anything.
You're not going to hear anything.
But good.
Good.
Ask away.
It just seems like for a politician, that would be something you could be proud of, helping a case get solved, finding the truth.
He didn't. He went what I'm going to call the party line. This is a suicide. That was the party line.
You probably just heard Brian say we emailed his office. We tried to get a hold of Governor Shapiro. We have not heard any response. We are going to continue trying every single day. So Governor Shapiro, if you're listening, or any of your staffers are, call me. Got some questions on this one. Brian's been digging into this story.
Yeah, call her. We all have some questions. Jen, I'm so excited. I know you're going to be beautiful at the wedding that you're getting ready for. And I hope whoever's getting married has the best wedding ever. That is so sweet.
For several days now, and he joins me live now from Philadelphia. Every piece of this story is, I look at it in disbelief. I keep looking for alternative theories, for explanations. I really do try to come up with some reasonable explanation as to how the police botched this so badly and how others after that seem to be just fine signing off on what seems comical. But Brian, I don't understand. What were Ellen Greenburg's parents like? What was the response they had when you talked to them about the fact that Sam Goldberg's judge uncle and and a lawyer cousin were able to get into that apartment and leave with her laptop and her cell phone?
So the uncle, that's a judge, and the cousin, that's a lawyer, which means the son, the dad is, okay. So if his uncle is a judge and his cousin is a lawyer, that means that he's related to someone that the dad is a judge and the son is a lawyer, and that's his uncle and his cousin, right? And they just stated they went into the damn apartment and got the laptop and the cell phone and walked out with it. And then you're going to tell me about these Google searches you magically found later? Nope, not buying it. I hope your aunt has the best wedding ever, lovely. This is anything but comical. It is. Oh, okay, Jenny. I understand. I kind of got the same thing going on. Me and my husband been married for years, but we've never actually went and got the papers. So we need to do that as well. That's super sweet though.
I mean, they're shocked now when they think about it. Ashley, at the time, you can imagine their daughter was dead. They were still trying to understand what happened. It didn't sit right with them that it was being called a suicide. They were grieving. So they were trying to process all of it. They thought it was a lockdown crime scene. They didn't know that people could just go in there. This is what they said about it.
Upsetting thing to me is the unauthorized uncle came to the building, got permission to get a suit for Sam with his son, and they came for the suit, but somehow they left with Ellen's 2 computers, Ellen's wallet, car keys, handbag,
cell phone,
critical electronics that they had no business taking. They never had permission.
I'm suspicious of that.
So the police
They didn't have permission to take it. Why did they go in there and take it? They came and went in and got special permission to go into that house and get those items for what? What was on those items, the laptop and the phone, that was so important that these people, this judge and this lawyer that are related to the boyfriend of this woman, needed to grab it? What is so important on that paper, on those items, that they got special permission to go in and get them? And where are they now?
Didn't immediately take those things?
No, they waited till Saturday.
3 or 4 days.
Why?
We don't know.
That's a good question. Ask the Philadelphia Police Department.
We never had any phone calls ever telling us what was going on. Never.
And Ashley, we asked the Philadelphia Police Department. They directed us to the DA's office. They said they won't comment because of pending litigation. No one wants to talk about this case. 4.5 years, the DA, Shapiro, now the governor, was investigating. And Ellen's parents were waiting, hopeful, for 4.5 years. They say he never reached out to them one time. No one from the office ever reached out to them.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com.
So I'm with Needs Some Z's, who says suspicious is an understatement. And Kayla said, I wonder if she had pics or proof of abuse on there. That's a good question. This case is nuts, Abellis. It absolutely is. I am going to have to go. Let me see. Did we watch this one? Let me see if we watched this one real quick.
Ellen was also clutching a clean white towel.
I don't know if we watched this. Let me see. I don't think we did. Doesn't appear we did, so we'll watch it again even if we haven't. If we've already watched it, we'll watch it again. Because it shows her trying on her wedding dress. How beautiful. Look at her. She was so pretty. Again, please remember the victims in all of these cases that we talk about and say a prayer for them if you don't mind.
Ellen was also clutching a clean white towel. That's weird. So this is a chance to cue the experts. Nima Rahmani is a former federal prosecutor and president of the West Coast Trial Lawyers. And Alexandra Kazarian is a criminal defense attorney who spent almost a decade as a public defender in Los Angeles. Hello to the both of you. Nima, I'm going to start with you. Just your general reaction to this whole fact pattern that I've just laid out.
Well, I'm shocked, Ashley. Like you said, the investigation has been botched from the jump. And in addition to everything that you mentioned, there's no real physical way someone would kill themselves by stabbing, especially in the neck when it's excruciatingly painful and probably impossible to do so. But let's talk about the bruises that were on her body in addition to those 20 stab marks. So this investigation has been poorly handled. And it's not just what happened, it's the perception for about 13 years now that Ellen's murder has gone unsolved and that no one has had the interest or the time in actually doing so.
So you said, Ellen.
And you remember when we looked at that image that's going away right now, but we saw how there was 4 different fatal wounds. So after one of those, I don't think she'd have been capacitated. I don't think she would have had the capability to do the other 3, whatever one happened first. I mean, if it's a near fatal wound and you're not going to be able to continue doing it to yourself afterwards, then how did 3 more fatal wounds happen? Kara said, please smash the like button. Yep, please.
Ellen's murder, but the police say it's a suicide. And so, Alexandra, I'm going to ask you, with your knowledge of how medical examiners work, certainly alongside with police investigators, is it possible that this suicide could be reverted back to the original classification, which was homicide?
Abellis, I'm not sure about that, but I would think that she was grabbing the white towel or holding the white towel because she was making fruit salad. Kara, I appreciate that. I'll check it out. We just talked about, I showed a picture. It was small, but like how of some of the fingerprint bruises and how it could have happened. Those are prayer cords, Abellis, from what I understand.
Well, I'd love to talk about the medical examination that actually happened in this case, but apparently when the medical examiner who's referenced by the investigating agency was asked about this case, she said she had no knowledge, no recollection at all of the case at all. And she has no notes on it, and she doesn't remember writing a report. So I'd love to see what the medical report actually said at the time of the investigation, but apparently that's gone missing too.
Whoa.
I just, it's such a wild case.
Hold on. Let me listen to that again.
At all of the case at all. And she has no notes on it, and she doesn't remember when the medical
Okay, we need to listen to this.
Examiner who's referenced by the investigating agency was asked about this case. She said she had no knowledge, no recollection at all of the case at all, and she has no notes on it, and she doesn't remember.
She has no knowledge or recollection of this case. She has no notes on it. Did she even write the case, or did somebody else do this and put her name, sign her name to it? This case just gets weirder by the second.
Remember writing a report. So I'd love to see what the medical report actually said at the time of the investigation, but apparently that's gone missing too.
She doesn't remember writing the report. She has no recollection of this case. She doesn't have any notes on it. The medical examination report that she supposedly signed has gone missing. Are you freaking kidding me? Wow, Philadelphia. What in the shit? Excuse my French. Need some Z said, after one wound, fatal for number 5, a person isn't going to keep doing that to themselves, let alone all the fatal wounds. Right. Right. Exactly. Need some Z said, that's not suspicious at all. Kayla said, BS. It is so much BS. This is crazy.
I just, it's such a wild case. I cannot imagine that there's a medical examiner out there that would actually put on paper that this is a possibility. And this is a great reason why qualified immunity should be rethunk. This is a huge issue, why investigative agencies and police forces can't be sued when they botch investigations like this.
Well, and it is mierde. I think that's how you say it. Mierde. Mierde. I can't roll my R's. I think it's the same in Spanish. Mierde. It is.
Speaking of botching, I can't even believe this is an addendum, but the police apparently didn't even report the 10 stab wounds to the back of her head and neck or the massive gash on the top of her head. They just didn't report that. There were 10 stab wounds and a knife plunged into her chest, that they just missed all that stuff in the back, all those knives in the back, just didn't put it in the report. So why would they push? Why would the
knife was never fingerprinted. Holy hell. I didn't even catch that. Wow. Like what? Stop it. I mean, you might as, I don't know how in the hell, like a normal police department wouldn't even have their job after this. Like you might as well have just walked in and shat on the whole crime scene. The screams cover up. Is he working with Delphi? Is this a Delphi? Goodness. Mello's arrest warrant said it's virtually impossible for it to have been a self-deletion. Right. It's laughable how this case was handled. This is insane.
Police push to have the homicide reclassified as a suicide?
So that nobody asks what they were doing. Nobody questions it. If they don't have to prosecute anybody, then their investigation doesn't get looked at with a magnifying glass.
Right. And Toxic said the scene was cleared the next day. That's why they ruled it this way. So nobody will ever look into it and nobody will come back. But they won't even release the records, even though the case has technically been closed. Stop it. Stop it.
Only a defense attorney who's defending their client is really going to be able to get in there, get access to all that evidence, get access to that diary so that they defend their client's rights. If there is no defendant, then there's no investigation. The parents right now are fighting that legal fight to say that we have standing. We should have the legal ability to get in there and get this information and really analyze it. But as a victim, you don't have that right. You have the right to have knowledge about an investigation, but not to actually pick it apart and look at the evidence in it.
Alexander Kazarian, thank you for that. Also, my thanks to Nima Rahmani, who had to scoot. But I just want to mention that tomorrow, Brian Enton has a lot more that's coming. He's going to be looking into allegations that Ellen was being abused. And also, we're going to dig into the claim that police say Sam Goldberg was with building security when he broke down the door.
Thanks for watching.
So we saw from the security guard that he was not with the security guard. And it sounds like they have some stuff on this that I might not even have. Let me see. Okay. I think I got one more that we might not have watched. Yep. And I think it's this one right here. So we'll see if we watch this one. It's called Suspicious Self-Deletion, What Really Happened to Ellen Greenburg. Hello. Hi, I would like you to play. I'm going to check that Discord, Kara, for what you sent me. I don't know if this is the one we watched already or not, but it's...
She stabbed herself. How would you know that?
Okay, we haven't seen this because that was the same question I have. She stabbed herself. How would you know that? Talking about the 911 call. How do you know that she did it to herself? And why would you say that off the bat in the 911 call? That girl said the blood was already clotted at the scene, but he was only gone an hour. Yup.
She stabbed herself. How would you know that? The medical examiner ruled that her
It's not letting me make it full screen for whatever reason, so we'll have to watch it like this. I apologize.
death was a homicide, and the literal definition of homicide is a person killing another person, not a person killing herself. Weirdly, the police pushed back on that manner of death, homicide. And they said so because the apartment was locked from the inside and the fiance had no defensive wounds, so maybe no homicide. And months later, the death was inexplicably reclassified as a suicide. Suicide. From that day until now, Ellen Greenburg's parents have fought to get the homicide ruling reinstated and Ellen's death properly investigated. And as we reported last week, the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania has now agreed to consider whether Ellen's parents have legal standing to be a party intervening. However all of this shakes out, the case has been reviewed, and at the very highest levels. In 2018, one of the parents' attorneys became the DA in Philadelphia, and because he couldn't continue on the case, he kicked it to the state attorney general, who at the time was Josh Shapiro. Does that sound familiar? Because that's Josh Shapiro, who...
I cannot find it, but we did see how the fingerprint bruises appeared to have could have been done with it by somebody grabbing her. Yeah, this is insane.
Who, of course, has now advanced to Pennsylvania governor. Josh Shapiro agreed with the suicide business, finding, again, inexplicably, that it was a suicide. And then came allegations that have never been verified that Josh Shapiro had a conflict of interest, a relationship with the fiance's family. And still, the suicide finding stuck. Brian Enton is currently researching this story, and he's investigating it, and he's going to have a full report soon. But in the meantime, I want to dig into the simple forensics of this. Joseph Scott Morgan is the best in the business. He's a certified death investigator, a distinguished scholar at Jacksonville State University. Joseph Scott Morgan, simple question. How does one stab herself if she's already dead?
I'd say that
That's impossible. Thank you, Abellis, for letting me know.
that's an empirical impossibility, Ash. Over my many years as a death investigator in New Orleans and Atlanta, I've never encountered a case like this with this number of self-inflicted stab wounds. Self-inflicted stab wounds do in fact happen, but to this degree, the severity, and in these particular locations, it defies all laws of biomechanics.
Exactly. Toxic. I'm glad you brought this case to my attention as well. Needs some Z's says, not shocked that Shapiro is connected to the family. Me either.
And I would urge everybody watching tonight, just think about trying to scratch your own back, okay, with maybe your right hand if you're right-handed. How far back can you reach? And then think.
Try that now. Like, try to reach your arm back and scratch your back and see how far back you can reach. And then imagine you're holding a knife and trying to stab yourself in the back of the head and neck. Like, what angles did they go in at? Because if they went straight, it's just humanly impossible. Like, maybe you could at an angle. But, like, right now, if you try to scratch your back and then imagine you're holding a knife and jabbing it into the back of your skull, like, it's not possible. I'm doing it right now. It's not possible. It's not possible.
Is it possible that you could leverage a knife over and over and over and over again posteriorly like this and endure those pain centers firing one after another?
That's the other thing, the incredible pain with each. Let me just put that graphic up again. And in the meantime, I want to say again the injuries. 10 wounds to the back of the head and neck. 1 neck wound that cut all the way into the spinal cord. 1 knife embedded 4 inches into her chest. Here's the list here. And yet, Ellen was clutching a pristine white towel in her left hand, which is also bonkers.
She was holding a white towel that was pristine in her hand while she's doing all this to herself. Stop. Toxic said she'd have to be a contortionist to be able to do it. Right. Bad Girl said this case is so corrupt. After the last announcement, they couldn't pursue the investigation. I think the family did get it to where that I think the family were able to get it so that it's being looked into again. So I think there is hope. I think they're going to know at the beginning of the year this year if they're going to reopen the case and look into it again. Yeah, I stubbed my toe and I'm done. Right, Cara? Like, no, ma'am.
Is there any explanation for a lack of blood, which is what one of the prosecutors said, and this pristine towel with all of these injuries?
No, if you like that one, I got another one for you too. She had blood that was actually streaking out of her mouth that was running in the horizontal plane. As we all know, blood flows, it's going to seek gravity, any kind of liquid. So how do you account for blood streaking like this? This has been one of the big questions. And also, Ash, if I may, the idea here is that many of these wounds are in the vertical plane, the horizontal plane, and also the diagonal plane, which means that the knife, the handle, how it's being held, is having to be reoriented every single time out. Yeah. And for those of us that have touched blood on another surface, you know that it's very slick. And again, I go back to this idea of these pain centers firing. I don't know how this is humanly possible.
I'm not buying it. I'm going to get you back.
It's not humanly possible. Shaboogies said she was in the middle of cutting fruit in the kitchen. Argument. He grabs the knife from the counter block and starts stabbing her from behind. That's what it seems like to me. Toxic Orchard said, I think they are, or Kara said to Toxic Orchard, I think they are. At least that's what I gathered from the article you posted last night in Discord. And that brings up another fact. If you guys want to look into more articles on this, there is a lot in my Discord. I'll post my Discord and the link to the Discord for As the Gavel Drops in the description box below. I'm not able to access this live from my phone right now. Shaboogie said this is another one that seems so painfully obvious as to what happened and who did what or didn't, like Delphi. Yep.
I'm running out of time right now, but I want to get you back. Yeah. And Governor Shapiro, if you're watching, I'd like to talk to you as well about this. Joe Scott, thank you for this. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ash. Have a good evening.
Thanks. Again, she references Governor Shapiro. I want to talk to you. Like, he is not giving that poor woman the time of day. Boyfriend does need to be interrogated, Anna. You're not going to do it yet. You're not gonna stab yourself and then continue to do it 19 more times, referencing the pain receptors in your body. Not to mention, it's too much to even mention. And I haven't even, there's so much more to this case. Again, check out the As the Gavel Drops Discord, which will be in the description box. And there's stuff on my Discord as well. And I will leave that in the description box as well. There's so much more to this case that I'm not even having time to cover. Kayla said the corruption in the system is just disgusting. Not just here, but everywhere. How people can live with this on their conscience is just baffling to me. All of the coroner's cases should be reviewed. Yep. And Kara says, heck no. When I'm cutting up food for dinner and I cut myself, I always say, F these onions, I'm done, right? Yeah, I can't stand it. I want to thank you all for being here. And I really appreciate you guys being here and watching. If you would consider hitting the thumbs up, I should have a few more videos coming out this weekend. And if you're watching the replay, thank you so much for watching the replay. I hope you all have the best day ever. I really appreciate you all being here on this Saturday with me. And I will see you tomorrow, Sunday, at 1:30 Eastern. Thank you all again so much for being here. Thank you, Abellis, again, for the gifted memberships. And again, if you guys were gifted, please tell her thank you. Have the best day ever. Have the best day ever. Bye.